My name is Ajay with TheraStretch, and this is our golf mobility program. Good to be done before your golf outing or on your off days. Just one piece of equipment. We use a foam roller, nice and long one like this, or a short one will work. If you have any questions, feel free to reach us at TheraStretchStudios.com. So we'll get started on our backs and just start taking the knees back and forth, nice and easy to get started here. And as we go through this, just progressing with deeper and more strenuous movements. Starting here, just letting the hips go left and right, engagement through the core. And next time you're back into center, let's ladylike cross one leg over and take that same windshield wiper rotation, allowing the hips to go into this internal and external rotation. Good for your golf swing and getting a little limber through the low back as well. Coming back to center, let's switch that out. Cross back and forth, and as we're doing this, keeping the breath nice and smooth. We'll add in some more conscious, deeper breath here in a moment, but for now, just nice and easy as we move left and right. And after you've done this video a few times and you can manage without, you can hold and pause at places you feel you might need. Coming back to center, grab both knees, pull them in, and then start to draw them outward towards the shoulders, getting a little extra through the groin insides of the legs. Go ahead and release that. We're gonna roll over to the side lie here, and start to open up the mid-back, your thoracic spine. A little pillow if you need here. I'm gonna do this open book. So with this top hand, we'll go circle it all the way up and open. Keep those knees closed as you rotate open, and then close that book. You can add in a little breathing here, inhale. As you circle around, exhale, close. Let's do 3 more of those. Just creating that longer reach and openness each time you go through. And essentially we are looking to build mobility, this balance between the strength and the flexibility. Just flip that over, coming on the other side, knees up about as high as your hips are. Long reach, open that palm, feel that rotation through that spine. Important for a golf swing. Close. All the way open. And close it. Inhales as you open up. Exhale, close. 2 more of those. And close. Very good. From here, let's move on to our hands and knees, and we'll start with some simple cat and cow for the spine, full flexion and extension. So dropping the belly down, open up the chest, full extension, curl as you come into this cat position. So inhale, open, exhale, curl. Let's do a few rounds there, nice and fluid through that spine. Just taking it to where you feel a little restriction, curling it around. As you exhale, really working that belly in and up towards the spine, engaging that core, giving it opportunity to awaken before you round. Let's do one more time. Exhale, curl. Good. Next, we'll take the knees a little wide here. Keep the big toes into touch. Crawl the hands forward just a little bit. We'll rock forward, open up into cobra with the chest, pressing all the way back into child's pose. Inhale, coming up, open, exhale back. Really using those hands to press those hips back. Few rounds here. Excellent for the low back, excellent for the hips, especially if it's early in the day and you got an early tea time and you need to iron out and open up all of the tension from sleep, static position. Let's do a couple more here. Next time you press back, pause in that child's pose. Hold. Smooth breathing here. Rise back up to this tabletop. We'll do some adductor rock backs, so opening up a little more through the inner thighs. So I'm going to slide this foot out so it's just in line with my knee over here, and then keeping that static and just rolling it back and forward. Few rounds here as you open up through this inside leg, and you'll feel a little stretch in that back as well, and starting to incorporate a little stability through that opposite knee and hip. Let's do one more round forward and back. And come on back to center. Switching sides, kick that foot out. Modify as you feel you need as far as how far back you go. A few rounds here. Some coordination as far as coming up and back. Really using that left hip for stability as you go back and forth. One more time. Coming back up. I'm going to grab that foam roller, place it along the side in the same tabletop hands and knees position, opening up through the mid back of my hand. We're going to go through that window. Use that for a little leverage as you roll away and bring it back. Keeping this left elbow generally straight, not letting it bend too much, but putting a little bend if you need to get that full range. Let's do a couple more here. Getting that pull from that shoulder blade, spine. I've got my thumb pointed up here. You can kind of play around with where and how that palm is. If it is faced up, you get a little different pull, so play around with that. Next, we're going to stick with the same move. Take this at about a 45-degree angle here. Same motion, just drawing it down so it'll get a different pull on those muscles that surround the shoulder blade. And as we're doing this, as you go through the video a few times, you can get into it, hold for a little while where you feel a good stretch. Really open up that shoulder blade and that mid-back spine rotation. Good, let's go ahead and do that to the other side. I'm gonna start with it completely vertical here, a few rounds. Smooth breathing throughout. And you can add in a different angle here, 45 degrees. palm up I like on this side. Really gets a good pull through that area between the shoulder blade and the spine. Good leverage through this foam roller. Very good. Let's put that foam roller aside and then come on up to a tall kneel positions. Hands at the low back rear, nice and tall through the crown of the head here, and a little bit of a back bend. As you're here, squeezing those elbows in together, spreading the collarbones. Deep inhale, open up through the chest. Smooth exhale. Deep inhale. Smooth exhale. Rise it back up, adding in some stretch to the front of the hips. Take that left foot forward, nice and forward in front of this knee with the foot, and bending into that knee. Keeping this pelvic tilt, tailbone tucked down as you go into that stretch. And we'll just keep it nice and dynamic here for our pre-golf round. Just opening up, limbering up, not too much static, deep stretches before we go swing today. Good, these next few we're gonna add in a little hamstring stretch too. So bending into that knee, feel that front right hip, and hinging over, feeling that nice pull through that posterior line. Let's do a couple more here. Good. Switch that out to the other side. Foot's just a little further than knee. Modify, intensify as you need. Tuck that tailbone down, so flattening that back is going to add that pull on the front of the hip. Maintain that as you move back and forth just a few times without the hamstring, really focusing on that front hip and just the fluidity control of this motion. Then we'll add in that hamstring, so nice and deep in here, hinge forward, get that pull in that hamstring. Let's do 5 of these. Balanced in this kneeling, really working that core, full body stability. One more of those. Very good. From here, we're going to stay in the kneeling position, taking this foot out to the side, opening up through the groin, the inner thighs, hips, and right now I got my foot lined up right with this knee. Seeing where you feel you need this foot, I like to have it a little further than that knee, so when we bend into it, we get a good stretch. Same thing here, we're just going to go back and forth. Stay here if this feels good. Option to use some arms, get a little side bend through the spine if you want. I'm going to add the little rainbow up and over, and the other way. Take that a few times. Let's do one more here. Good. Let's do that to the other side. Line it up. Open and close. This knee might want to cave in a little bit as you come down. Keep it out and back. Gotta really get that hip open. And then another note I should have mentioned earlier, you got a pretty thick mat here. Depending on how your knees are, you can use a towel, pillow underneath. Just keep those knees protected and safe. Same thing here, option to get that full body motion, spine, side bend. One more of those. Very good. From here we'll come into a fairly quick downward facing dog, putting a little pressure into the hands, weight bearing through the hands. One opportunity, and then second, we'll stretch the backs of the legs by pedaling out one foot and the other. And just hold wherever you feel you need to. Whatever feels good for you in this downward facing dog. Keeping that neck nice and long, gazing at the back of the yoga mat. Then from here, let's walk it forward into a ragdoll. It's a nice passive forward fold, little bend in the knees here, cross at the arms. Just let your spine hang, head is heavy. Smooth breathing here, a couple rounds. Very good. Let the hands come down and then make your way down into a seat. A little more rotation through the hips. Seated, I got my feet a little wider than my hips. And we're just gonna rotate in and out both ways here. So we're getting that full internal, external rotation through each hip. We'll take this a few times here. And the next time you're over to the right side, pause. We're gonna take that chest over that knee, move into that stretch and out. You should feel that in that piriformis, that deep hip rotator. And just opening that up each time you go down. Come on, back up. Let's do that to the other side. As far over as you feel you can. Up and over that knee, opening up that deep hip, those deep hip muscles. Do a couple more here. Very good. Coming back to a seated position, just feet out in front of you. Little reverse tabletop here. A little energizing pose. You can use your hands, lift up through the hips, just as high as you feel comfortable. If your shoulders are tight, just kind of stay where you feel your limitations, but really working those hips up to the sky. You can take the gaze up. Just hold here for a moment. And slowly let it back down. A couple more things with the foam roller before we go into our standing movements. Mid-back thoracic spine foam roll. Keep that foam roller behind you long ways. Hands behind the head. And just scanning from neck to bottom of that rib cage. Pausing where you feel you need to. Just take a few passes here, working that mid-back into that subtle back bend, kind of the opposite of hunching over, and just loosening up the spine for swinging the golf club, sending some drives straight down the fairway. Do one more pass, and then we're gonna do a quick pass through the hips. So I'll show you at a little angle. I'm sitting on this foam roller. I'm gonna figure 4 cross my one leg over. Same side, lean into that meaty rear. So all the glute kind of up where that hip meets the low back. Just opening up all that. It shouldn't take too much to find some tense areas. Feel free to kind of hang out in those areas where you feel a little tension. But for our video here, just gonna roll through it a few times, open it up, bring some awaken awareness and awaken that deep hip. And then we'll switch to the other side. Figure 4, lean into it. A few passes here. And just noticing some left and right differences. Give you some opportunity to bring some balance over time, create longevity, keep you golfing for years to come. Birdies, all that, low scores. All right, coming out from there, finishing with few movements in standing before we get out to our course or tee time. And these last movements, excellent to do any day and even on the course. So first thing we're gonna do, hands start up, kicking one foot forward, sweep the hands down, rise it back up, back to stand, switch. Just gonna do a handful of each of these movements as we come up and down, keeping that balance and focus. Do one more on each side here. Good. Second one, step forward, sweep the hands up, little back bend, and then coming back to center to the other side. Step, come up on that back foot, and down. Breathing throughout, inhales up, exhales down. Good. Coming back to center, adding in a little rotation here. We'll step forward with one foot, same side, twist, step it back, other side. Just gonna do 3 rounds for today. After all our other movements should be enough, but definitely something to carry with you as you go onto the golf course, even just a couple passes of each of these moves. Good. Now we're gonna step forward, kind of like you're drawing a bow and arrow, like your Achilles or Arjun in Hindu mythology. I'm gonna step back, open that foot, lean back, step it forward. Same thing to the other side. It's an open, and then all the way, really pressing off that back foot as you come up and forward. Draw that bow, release. One more over here, and release. Very good. Adding in a little side bend. We'll start with the side bend, curtsy side bend. So right foot comes back and behind, right hand up and over. Coming back to center, dancing it over to the other side. Let's do a few of those. Back and forth, keeping that length, rainbowing. Just gonna do one more of those. Very good. And then last move for us, out to the side, load into that foot, open up same side, back to center, other side. Just dancing along, one, then the other. One more time. Hopefully you don't have a fake plant in your way when you do this, but that's our program. Last thing we're gonna do, breathing. Using this now and throughout your round of golf for that first tee for sure. Deep inhale through the nose, 5 seconds. Smooth exhale, let the mind release. Inhale with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Smooth exhale, melt. Clear that mind, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more, deep, full inhale. Smooth exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relaxed, normal breathing. That's our program, Golf Mobility. Try it out, see how much further your drive goes. If you have any questions, let me know. TheraStretchstudios.com. Hit them straight. See you next time.